equities have seen sharp correction thanks to the strength of the dollar and the bond yields. Which asset class do you expect to outperform for the rest of the year?
Well, our view is that the bond markets will probably continue to deteriorate in Asia, and I think it's due to a couple of things. One is that, as I said, we probably see interest rate cycles tightening in places like Indonesia, which will work against the bond markets. I also suspect that the higher oil prices will start to work through into some of these economies. As you've seen the fuel price subsidies being removed in Indonesia, you've also seen the gas hike prices in China being raised. So I think for the bond markets, it's pretty much a difficult period for investors because we have seen record low yields. For the equity markets, I think we're in a little bit of a purdah period really, because the good quality companies have not necessarily been sold off over the last quarter. So it may mean that we need to see Asian equity share prices come lower before we actually get real buying coming through. But I would expect equities to do relatively better than the bond markets in Asia.
Do you see risks of a sudden stop in capital flows into emerging markets?
We don't necessarily see any risks of a sudden shutdown of global liquidity for the emerging markets. What might happen is that a reverberation in a place, for example, like Brazil or Turkey, due to political risk, cuts issuance for a lot of the other countries, or indeed causes quite significant redemptions. But we think most of that risk will be isolated, and so far that's really what has occurred over the last couple of months.
Within Asia, which countries appear attractive to you, and why are you bearish on India?
Well, I think India did suck in an awful lot of capital over the last 2 years. I think it's probably been early in terms of cleaning its house out, unlike China. But as I said, I don't think necessarily the good companies are priced attractively enough for people to sort of suddenly say we're getting a bargain. So I think India, as I say, is one to put on the radar screen and during bad days or bad sell-offs to go back and own. But elsewhere in the Asian markets, I would still say that Japan will tend to do a lot better. It was one of the few markets that was up in June, and also I would single out perhaps Philippines and to some extent Hong Kong.